Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and I hope you guys are doing well and safe wherever you are. Today we're gonna talk something about this particular camera combination, the Olympus OMD E-M5 Mark III and the Panasonic Leica Lumix 9mm f1.7. So let's begin our episode and talk a little bit about the pros, the cons of this combination and why I feel like this is one of the best vlogging camera that you can get probably in 2022 or 2023 as well. So let's begin. So the first and foremost thing about this particular combination is about this particular camera. Now, as you guys know, this is from Olympus and it is like one of the best camera in the market with an hybrid settings. That means you are pretty good for photography purpose and as well as pretty good for videography purpose. Now, why I say that? Now, first thing is this has DCI 4K. Of course, a lot of people would not be interested in that setting, but I feel like that is one of the best that you can crop out of your camera and get that cinematic look straight out of this. And the second thing that I kind of love a little bit about it further into the video aspects is that this has good video recording codec. So that means when you switch it to the cinema 4K mode, it automatically gets into the 24 frames per second, and also it does it in a higher bit rate, somewhere around 240ish or 230 megabits per second. So that's really good. Of course, Panasonic and other cameras may go a little bit higher than that, but for sure for many of them that would be more than enough to just do a little bit of color correction or something in that lines. That's really great. Now, apart from that, this also does 4K and all of the rest of this stuff, 1080p and all of the stuff. Now, coming to the other aspect of photography, now this has like 20 megapixel sensor, so that means you are able to take pretty good photos out of it, and as well it has a high resolution photo shot, so somewhere around 50 megapixels is what you'll get out of that. So this is actually pretty good in both the ways, and that too in a raw format. So that's really good. So you are pretty much covered in both the aspects of video and as well as photography needs. Now, the other thing that I'm really impressed about this camera is the settings that it has. Now, as I said, already covered, it has pretty good video codecs and all other options. And also adding on that, this camera has some of the profile pictures or profile modes that you can change, that is picture profiles that you can actually tweak and make it compact with your needs. Probably if you're trying to color correct it or kind of do anything in that way, you are always allowed to do that. That's a really good thing about this particular camera. Now, coming to the second thing that I'm really impressed about this camera is that amazing in-body stabilization. Now, as you guys know, Olympus cameras have pretty good stabilization, so that means the sensor is able to protect you while you don't have a lens with an image stabilization inbuilt. The camera is able to cover that up and you get pretty amazing results out of it. I'm really surprised after watching a couple of the samples that I did with this particular combination, and I was really surprised feeling that this lens didn't even had that stabilization, but the camera was able to do it pretty well. That's really great thing about this combination. Coming to the other things about this camera, the battery life is quite great. So I just have 3 batteries and probably just runs me for a day without any issue. Now, the battery format of this is from it's called, I think, BLS 5 or something like that from Olympus. So but I have this from Wasabi, probably just does the same thing, but it's from a different brand. So I just kind of use their batteries a lot for many of my other cameras as well, and that makes it quite amazing. Like 3 batteries, you're done for the day. You are able to do as much as possible as you can. And I need not talk about micro four third cameras, as probably you already know a lot about it. I really don't want to do anything about that. Now, coming to this combination, the Panasonic Leica 9mm f1.7. Now, 9mm on a micro four third camera, as you know, is double the focal length, so it's 18mm on this. It actually does solve a lot of problem. Now, that wide angle effect was missing on a micro four third camera. They have few lenses from Panasonic and Leica, sorry, Panasonic and Olympus, but they are actually a little bit slower, not as fast as this f1.7. So you will end up either getting f4 or f2.8 somewhere for this focal length, but of course they are pretty much bigger, so you may not be able to get that compactness that you're looking for. Now now 9mm f1.7 is 18mm 3.4 on a full frame term, so 18mm for such a compact form factor is really amazing. It just is pretty much small and lightweight to just carry it around quite easily. Now, if you have something like the tripod that I've kind of recently reviewed from Lanzi, you can just kind of hook it up to that particular tripod and just kind of carry it quite easily and just record yourself. And with that amazing stabilization of this camera, you are able to get pretty amazing videos out of it. Now, I've taken some of the video samples out of this. Probably I'll just put them in the timeline, just watch it and see what you feel about it. And everything was being recorded in the auto mode, and probably I tweaked a couple of the settings of the stabilization, because this has two kind of stabilization. One is the sensor stabilization, as well as sensor plus the digital stabilization, which crops a little bit, so you will get that hyper smooth or more than that kind of an effect. So just watch that video and you decide if this combination is for you. This was the whole video. Just continue watching the rest of the video for that video sample, and then you decide if it's really worth for your needs. For my opinion, in my opinion, I would say this combination is quite amazing. Now with that, I will just go ahead and end this video, guys. If you have anything about this video, just let me know in the comments below. Hey guys, welcome back. Now this is how it actually looks on my Olympus OMD E-M5 Mark III. Now this is how it actually looks. Now I'm actually just recording straight out of the camera, not doing any fancy stuff here. That means everything is pretty much plugged in and turned on recording kind of thing. It actually just works pretty well. I mean, as I said, it has one of the best autofocusing system, and especially combined with this particular lens, it actually just performs pretty decent, no issues whatsoever. And I've been testing a couple of combinations with it, and it's actually does just works. I mean, there's nothing specific about this lens. It's all about the camera body and the autofocusing system that it has. It has a face detect autofocusing system, so that means everything whatever you bring in front of it just works. That's the benefit out of the face detect autofocusing system that you are getting. Now yeah, this is how it looks. It almost covers up the whole frame of my room. And let me see if, oh no, I think, yeah, it's in the center or the sensor stabilization alone, so it looks pretty decent. But let me just double check. Hold on a second. So actually it was my mistake. The camera was with digital stabilization on, and as well as the sensor stabilization, so there was a little bit of crop. Now you can see that my room is a little bit extended. Now you can see everything behind it. That's basically because the digital cropping is no more in effect, so it's actually just working with the sensor stabilization kicking in. So this is how it looks, pretty much straight out of the camera. I'm not doing any fancy stuff here. Everything is being recorded in the auto mode, and you can just see how well it works actually. The autofocusing points, or when it comes to autofocusing aspect, there are no issues with this camera. It just works pretty well. You are getting top-notch autofocusing capability, and everything just works as easy. Today I'm going to just talk a little bit about this particular camera combination, the Olympus OMD E-M5 Mark III and the Panasonic Leica 9mm f1.7. Now everything is actually being recorded handheld. That's because this camera has pretty much amazing in-body image stabilization, whereas the Panasonic Leica 9mm doesn't have any in-body image stabilization, so you're pretty much getting straight out of the camera kind of a look. And I'm actually using the sensor stabilization playing in role here. I'm not using the digital plus sensor, so that means there's only one stabilization that's kicking in, and you look and get the feel as like how it looks. Now I'm actually recording in the continuous autofocus mode, and the ISO is also set to auto. I'm not playing around that, and the white balance is set to 4800, and nothing else I've actually tweaked on this camera, so it's pretty much straight out of the camera as to how it looks. And the good thing about the Panasonic, especially the Olympus and this combination, is that it does work quite great. and there's no issues whatsoever I've seen with this particular combination, especially when it comes to autofocusing area. Now if I just take a couple of steps, you kind of get the sense as to how it actually works. Pretty much straight ahead, hands out. Like, I mean, I'm not using any gimbal, I'm just using my bare minimum hands here to just kind of capture this particular video. Now it looks a little bit smaller in my opinion. Even the microphone looks a lot bigger on this particular combination. I'm gonna just show you how exactly it looks with my other camera, but this actually is pretty much rock solid if in case you wanted to just use something as a pretty much compact and easy to carry around combination. And especially with this lens, if you pair up the 20mm and the 20mm and the 25mm and the 42.5 1.7, you get pretty much good focal length covered in a pretty much small form factor. Alright, so this is how it actually looks. The autofocusing is quite best in the opinion. It just works pretty much straight out of the camera. You need not play around or tweak anything or do any fancy setting that you want to make it work with. And with this great in-body image stabilization, it is actually the best in the class if in case you want to consider something small and compact enough that you can kind of carry now. But probably there are so many cameras right now in this form factor that you may probably think of buying the Sonys or the Canons, which are like, or even the Nikon. They have been doing pretty much smaller and compact cameras for like easy to carry around. And yeah, I mean, it's up to you how you want to decide, but I kind of love Micro Four Thirds series so much because you have the flexibility of putting whatever lens you want. You have the flexibility of that amazing in-body stabilization. You have a pretty good video codecs a lot of the places, so you get pretty much decent experience or more yield out of this particular form factor. So that's the whole point I want to talk about. Alright, so let me just kind of continue doing some walking around the home. That way you can just kind of get the perspective of how the image stabilization actually works. And right now I'm just kind of walking bare hand, and I'm not even using the digital stabilization here. It's like the only sensor stabilization that's actually kicking in. And yeah, so this was the whole video, guys. This was just like a quick video about this particular combination because I just wanted to talk about it because it's so much good when you pair with these two. I mean, pair these two combinations. It's actually I would say like you know, vlogger's dream come true, if in case you're into that. I'm not specifically into that, so it's not my game. But if you're someone who's actually planning to do this, then this combination is really good because you will get these two combinations pretty affordably if in case you are planning to buy a used one. I didn't see much of this lens on sale because this is a brand new one, whereas the Olympus E-M5 Mark III, you can probably get it like $500, and this add up this lens is somewhere around $1,000, and you get pretty much astonishing result. Alright guys, so with that I'll just go ahead and end this video. I hope you have liked this quick video about the E-M5 Mark III and the Panasonic Leica 9mm f1.7, and the stability is amazing and I need to talk about it. And even if I kind of just kind of run around the home a little bit like a jogging kind of way, you can still see it actually just looks quite good, and no issues whatsoever. Alright guys, that was more than enough, I believe. I'll catch up with you guys later. Take care, bye bye.